Imagine waking up in a world with no banks, credit cards, stock markets, or online shopping. Everything you own depends on what you can grow, build, or trade with your neighbors. This was ancient Greece, one of history's most influential civilizations. Ancient Greece evokes philosophers, Spartan warriors, and magnificent temples. Yet behind them stood an economy that kept the civilization alive. Greece was not rich because it had endless gold or fertile land. Much of the country was rocky, mountainous, and difficult to farm. Yet, the Greeks created one of the most successful trading networks of the ancient world. So, how did they do it? The answer changed Greece and helped shape the future of Europe. Unlike Egypt, blessed by the Nile, or Mesopotamia, crossed by great rivers, Greece had little fertile land. Nearly 80% of its landscape consisted of mountains, leaving only narrow valleys and small coastal plains for agriculture. This geography shaped everything. Mountains separated communities, so Greece developed as independent city-states, each with its own economy, laws, and government. Athens, Sparta, Corinth, and Thebes all developed different priorities and economic strengths. Because farmland was scarce, every harvest mattered. Families cultivated olives, grapes, barley, and wheat wherever possible. Olive trees became especially valuable because they survived poor soil and dry climates while producing oil used for cooking, lighting, cosmetics, medicine, and religious ceremonies. An olive tree could support a family for generations. Farming remained the foundation of daily life, but agriculture alone could not sustain a growing population. As cities expanded, demand rose for wood, metals, pottery, textiles, wine, and luxury goods. The Greeks had to think differently. Instead of relying only on the land, they turned to the sea. Surrounded by islands and coastline, the Mediterranean became their highway, connecting communities faster than roads. Greek merchants sailed across the Aegean, the Black Sea, Egypt, Sicily, southern Italy, and even parts of Spain. They carried goods that transformed local economies into an international trading network. Trade was not simply an opportunity. It was a necessity. The sea connected entire civilizations, creating one of history's earliest interconnected economies. For the Greeks, the sea was the engine of commerce. Merchant ships crossed the Mediterranean carrying cargo from port to port. Every successful voyage brought wealth, ideas, and new opportunities. Greek exports became famous. Amphorae filled with olive oil traveled to Egypt. Wine reached southern Italy. Painted pottery was sold across the Mediterranean, valued for both beauty and craftsmanship. In return, Greece imported resources it lacked. Grain arrived from Egypt and the Black Sea. Timber came from Macedonia and Thrace. Copper, iron, silver, spices, perfumes, ivory, and luxury fabrics flowed into Greek ports. Trade allowed Greece to overcome the limits of its geography. Without it, many city-states could not have survived. Among them, Athens became the leading center of commerce. Its access to the sea through the port of Piraeus gave it one of the busiest harbors in the ancient world. Ships arrived daily with foreign merchants and goods. Warehouses filled, dock workers unloaded cargo, and traders negotiated in crowded markets. Trade generated enormous tax revenue, allowing Athens to finance roads, temples, public buildings, and one of the strongest naval fleets in history. Its economy and military strengthened each other. The richer Athens became, the larger its navy grew. The stronger its navy became, the safer its trade routes remained. This cycle fueled prosperity. One of the greatest innovations in Greek commerce was the widespread use of coins. Before coins, many transactions relied on barter. A farmer who wanted sandals had to find a shoemaker who also needed grain. The system worked, but it was slow and limited. Coins changed everything. Silver and bronze coins carried official symbols guaranteeing their value. The Athenian tetradrachm showed Athena and an owl. These coins became trusted across much of the Mediterranean. Merchants could sell products in one city and buy different goods elsewhere using the same currency. Trade became faster. Prices became more predictable. Businesses became more efficient. Money became a tool that made large-scale exchange possible. At the center of every Greek city stood the agora. It was more than a marketplace. It was the economic, political, and social heart of daily life. Farmers, fishermen, potters, blacksmiths, teachers, philosophers, politicians, and travelers crossed paths there daily. Business negotiations took place beside philosophical debates. Political speeches echoed near merchants bargaining over prices. Information moved almost as quickly as merchandise. If drought reduced grain production in Egypt, prices in Athens could rise within weeks. Even in the ancient world, markets reacted to news. Although modern banks did not exist, the Greeks developed surprisingly advanced financial services. Money changers near temples and marketplaces exchanged currencies from different city-states. Wealthy individuals accepted deposits and offered loans to merchants preparing overseas voyages. Storms could sink ships, pirates could steal cargo, and wars could close routes without warning. Because the danger was so high, maritime loans often carried high interest rates. But successful voyages could produce extraordinary profits. Long before Wall Street, Greek merchants understood a principle that still defines finance. Greater risk can bring greater reward. Yet, Greek prosperity rested on a foundation modern societies recognize as deeply unjust. Much of ancient Greece's economy depended on slavery. Although slavery is a grave violation of human rights, Greeks treated it as normal. Enslaved people worked in homes, farms, workshops, mines, and government offices. Some cooked, cleaned, or cared for children. Others faced brutal conditions. The silver mines of Laurium near Athens were among the most dangerous workplaces of the ancient world. Thousands of enslaved workers spent long days underground, extracting the silver that financed Athens and strengthened its navy. Without this labor, many of the city's achievements, including monumental building projects, would have been far harder to accomplish. It is a reminder that economic success often carries hidden human costs. Wealth in Greece was also distributed very unevenly. A small group of landowners, merchants, and politicians controlled a large share of the economy. Many farmers lived modestly and feared drought, debt, and failed harvests. One bad season could force a family into debt and cost them their land. Meanwhile, successful long-distance merchants could accumulate fortunes beyond the reach of ordinary citizens. This growing divide between rich and poor created tensions that influenced politics, laws, and philosophy. Plato and Aristotle did not discuss only ethics and knowledge. They also examined wealth, property, justice, and the responsibilities of citizens. More than 2,000 years ago, Greeks were debating questions that still shape politics today. The true legacy of ancient Greece is not simply that it became wealthy. Many civilizations accumulated riches. What made Greece extraordinary was the way it combined commerce, innovation, and independent city-states into a system built on specialization and exchange. Merchants developed long-distance trade routes. Cities focused on goods they produced best. Reliable coins simplified transactions. Ports connected distant cultures. Markets spread information as well as products. These ideas resemble principles that still define modern economies. International trade, specialized industries, trusted currencies, investment, risk and reward, and economic interdependence. Although more than 2 millennia separate us, many foundations of the global economy were refined in the Greek world. The next time you see the ruins of a Greek temple or hear the names Athens, Sparta, or Corinth, remember the invisible network behind them. Farmers, sailors, merchants, craftsmen, laborers, and enslaved people whose work kept the civilization alive. Ancient Greece was not built on unlimited natural resources. It was built on adaptation. When the land was not enough, the Greeks turned to the sea. When geography divided them, trade connected them. When resources were scarce, innovation became essential. That ability to transform limitations into opportunities may be the greatest economic lesson ancient Greece still offers. Its cities fell long ago, but many of the ideas that powered their prosperity continue to shape the world every day.